lovely good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV breakfast show of today, being the 14th of June 2022. I am your host, Miriam Kaimba, and of course, just like every Mondays, on Tuesdays here on the breakfast show, we always look at the community segment. And of course, in studio, I am not alone. I am joined by my beautiful colleague, Sipora Mshala. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Miriam. How are you?
I'm beautiful. I'm trying. Yeah, though the morning seems to be, but I'm good.
Today is much hotter in Lusaka compared to other days.
Well, we cannot say that yet. You know how the weather changes. Yeah, we cannot say that.
That's the kind of weather where in the morning maybe you wear what do you call them? You wear boots, long boots. By afternoon it's blazing and you feel bad. So really the weather is changing.
So what do we have for our viewers today on our show? So
at 7:30 we're going to open our phone lines and we're going to be discussing online child safety in Zambia. How safe is the online space for Zambia? Have enough regulations actually been put in place to protect children? And this is based on some recent happenings that we've seen in the country, where a number of people have actually taken to social media to share news and all that, and just the different dangers that actually come with social media. And so we're going to play some stories to help us discuss our topic, and we're going to open our phone lines so that our viewers can actually give an input. And at 8 hours, we're going to be joined by Mr. Elijah Ngwale, who's an advocate for persons with disabilities, discussing Constituency Development Fund. Will persons with disabilities actually benefit from CDF? If so, have they been sensitized enough? What do they need to do? Or have they been sidelined, as has always been the case? So basically, those are our two topics for today.
Interesting. I hope, I would want really to get more views with regards to people with disabilities having access to CDF. CDF, quite all right, has been a hot issue for quite some time now. So we wait to see what we'll have later on. But right about now, we'll go direct into our morning boost so that we keep our day fit and running. Catch us on the other side.
It's a beautiful morning and I welcome you to Morning Boost. I'm so glad that you've tuned in and hope you had a great night. So let's do some workouts this morning and we're going to have a great time. So we're going to start with a warm-up and then make some aerobics movements for today. Okay, ready? Let's go. A beautiful morning to everybody and welcome to Morning Boost. Let's go. Go. And the V step now. Let's go. Last V step. Back to step touch. V step. Let's go. Let's go. And march in. And 4, 3, 2, step touch, go. Bring in your hands now. Let's go, let's go. Just a quick workout in the morning. Not a full-fledged workout, no. Keep going. And 4, 3, 2, hamstring, go. Four, 3, 2, step touch. 4, 3, 2, and hamstring. And 4, 3, 2, step touch. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Keep going, stay at it. Go. Easy basic workouts for the morning and matching. Skip, jump now, go. Let's go, skip. Try this. Even if you feel heavy in your body, you can do this. Let's go. There's always a first time. You may struggle, but it's doable. Let's go. And 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Change now. Let's go. Very easy for a morning workout. Lift your knee very high. Go. Let's go. Stay at it. Stay at it. We're going to bring in a kick now from a knee high to a kick. Go. Go. Let's go. Let there be a blood circulation on your legs so that you don't have that numbness you feel at times. Kick. 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 Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Straight kicks now. Go. Straight kicks. Go in the sides. Okay. Keep going. Almost done with our 5 minutes workout. Knee high. Try this every morning. It's going to do wonders to your body. Let's go. We're almost there. All right, team. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is Isaac Matsa, your presenter. I'm going to see you next time at the same time. And have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
So I hope you had a wonderful time stretching, because Miriam and I did.
Exactly.
Did you enjoy your morning boost?
I did, Zipporah. I did. And you know, I'm so exhausted right now.
It was really, really
Today, early in the morning, I didn't try to wake up early and exercise. So I just said, okay, I'll do with Isaac Machisa on the show today.
It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. With my heels, of course. But I tried.
And it was actually looking fun in your heels, trying to do all those things.
But you know, you just need to exercise every day in the morning. Yes. And talking about exercise, it's always important that you know all those healthy issues with regards to your body. And talking about health, Zipporah, every time when we come on this show, we always have the Healthy Corner, another segment that we bring for our lovely viewers out there. And for those who have questions for the doctors, please catch them every Saturdays. They're ever live on studio. In case you have any questions that you would like to find out from them, please do watch the show every Saturday and get to send your comments, your questions, so that they can be responded to. But right about now, we are going direct to our Healthy Corner, of course, and we have Dr. Mwanza, who is going to talk about the importance of under 5. Let's see what she has for us.
Good morning and welcome to your breakfast show, and in particular the health segment. I'm Dr. Chelo Mwanza, a member of the Medical Women Association of Zambia, and this health segment is proudly brought to you by the Medical Women Association of Zambia. So this week we're looking at the importance of under 5 clinics. We are looking at the various components and how these components actually help us in monitoring a child's growth. And so yesterday we outlined the components. We looked at baby and parent information, and today we're going to look at growth monitoring. So from conception, an embryo is expected to grow and develop until a time when the baby is born, after which the growth of this child is followed up and monitored at the under 5 clinic visits. And so growth can be measured in 3 ways, and this is monitoring the weight, the height, and the brain development. If a child is not developing well in any of these 3 components, it means there's a problem, and you may need to see a doctor for that particular problem that your child could have. So how do we monitor growth in terms of weight? So as you take your child for the under 5 visits, you will probably be given this record, and we have it out there in our clinics. And so in particular, each time, every month you take your child for the visit, the weight will be plotted on this particular chart. So a child who's gaining adequate weight would expect them to be along this green line. So if your child is gaining weight as it is required, they'll be between this green line and the top red line. So if your child starts to lose weight, the scale will start going down, and this is a danger sign. It could mean that your child is not gaining adequate weight, or they are actually losing weight. It could be because they are not feeding as they're supposed to, or maybe they've had an illness that's long-standing, or maybe it's just a short illness that could have made them lose weight. If the child continues to lose weight, even to get to this dotted line, your child at this particular point could be in severe acute malnutrition and may need admission for treatment. Again, on the other hand, if your child gains excessive weight such that they go above this black line on top, it means your child has gained too much weight, and we may need to check, could it be something wrong, why they could be gaining so much weight, or it could be just that maybe you are not giving the food as it is supposed to. So this is one way we monitor a child's growth. The other way we monitor the growth is to look at the height of the child. So again, each time you go for the under 5 visit, we expect that your child's height will be measured, and it will be plotted again on this chart. So if your child is between the 2 red lines or along the green line, it means your child is gaining the height as they are supposed to. If your child is not gaining as much height as they're supposed to, let's say they are between this red line at the bottom and the black line, it could mean that your child could be short for their height because of a particular problem. It could also be feeding problems, or it could just be that it runs in the family. Some children could be short from the beginning, but they do catch up later, especially around puberty. Again, if your child is gaining so much weight, they're above this red line, which is above the green line, it could be that your child is too tall for their age. Again, some children are tall because generally in the family they are tall, or others it could be because maybe they have excess hormones or they have another problem. And so by monitoring, by us plotting all this on this chart, it helps us to see how well your child is growing. Now that we've looked at the height and the weight, the other aspect that we monitor even as a child develops is the brain function. So for the body to function as it is supposed to, the brain is supposed to have the correct size and be functioning the right way. And so as your child is growing, there are certain things that we expect them to do at a particular age. So as you take them for under 5 visits, we're going to measure the head circumference, so that we put it around the head. We measure how big the head is. Ideally, of course, when a baby is born, the head is smaller, but as they grow on, the head also starts to grow, and at every particular age, we expect that the head circumference is at the correct size. So after we've measured that, we're going also to look at what your child is able to do. So if you can see, I mean, I know most of us parents out there have these under 5 cards. It's easy, you can follow, you know, you can see that in this first line, this is a child who's between 2 and 4 months. So expect that a child between 2 and 4 months is able to lift their head, they're able to support their head, and also they're able to smile even as you talk to them, you know, as you smile at them, they smile back at you. Babies sometimes do smile from birth for whatever reason. They smile during their sleep, they smile even when you haven't smiled at them. But the most important thing is that at about 6 weeks, we expect that when you smile at your child, they smile back at you. And for us, that's a sign of growth. That's a sign of communication between you and the child, or the child to you. So again, at about 4 months to 6 months, we expect that your child starts to babble. You know, they start making sounds, and then also they're able to take objects to their mouths. And this is around the time when, you know, sometimes you might see teeth development, and and sometimes they tend to have diarrhea because of frequently taking things into their mouth. And so if, for instance, you gave a child who's 2 months old a toy, they may not be able to play with it because they are too young to play with a toy. But if you gave that toy to a child who's between 4 to 6 months, you'd expect that they'll be able to play with it. You know, they'll hold it, they'll take it to their mouth. For us, it's a sign of growth. It means the brain is developing as it is supposed to. And so we go on. If we look at a child who's between 6 to 9 months, they start to learn how to sit. They're able to say mama, tata, you know. So it means they're growing and growing, and so on and so forth. When you look at a child who's between 9 to 12 months, they start to learn how to walk, they start to pick up objects, they point at things, and they're even able to imitate gestures. So, you know, they can say bye when you wave at them, and they wave back at you, and so forth and so on. So as you take your child for these under 5 visits, we are able to help you stimulate your child with the appropriate type of play and even the toys to give, so that this child's brain can develop as it is supposed to. So today we've looked at 3 aspects which help us tell that this child is growing very well. So we looked at how the weight is measured and plotted, and the height, and also the brain development. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Chelo Mwanza from the Medical Women Association of Zambia. Tomorrow, we are going to look at nutrition and how well we need to feed our babies so that they can gain the adequate weight. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. I hope you did enjoy and learned one or two things with regards to what we had on the doctors on the Healthy Corner with Dr. Mwanza, who was talking about the importance of under 5. Zipporah, maybe just highlight some of the things you think parents should be able to take note of what she said so that, yeah.
Well, basically, of course, it's child monitoring, basically, whereby you have to take your child and actually give them maybe the nutritional needs according to whatever has been diagnosed at the hospital. If they're doing well, you maintain whatever food they're giving them, whatever care, and if the line shows that it's low, you have to make those adjustments. So basically, that was it, and just emphasizing on the importance instead of just maybe relying on our own knowledge. So because you have to know if your child is actually eating all the foods in the food groups and not just one type of food, so that your child grows to be healthy.
Exactly, very important for parents to know. I know a lot of would say, anyway, my daughter needs to eat this porridge or my son needs to eat, without taking into consideration all the important elements that they should take. But right about now, Zipporah, what do we have in our next segment for our viewers this morning?
Okay, so we have zooming. Well, we have actually, even before you go there, Miriam, we go the money market.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, and just a reminder to our viewers out there, the money market is up for sponsorship, just like the health segment is.
Yeah.
And so let's just take a look at today's money market to know how the kwacha is faring. We have the United States dollar, which is buying at 16 kwacha 75 ngwe, selling at 17 kwacha 18 ngwe. The euro, which is buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe, selling at 19 kwacha 26 ngwe. The Great British Pound, which is buying at 20 kwacha 14 ngwe, selling at 20 kwacha 18 ngwe. The South African Rand, which is buying at 1 kwacha 4 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha 6 ngwe. So that is our money market. And we've seen that the kwacha to the dollar has actually maintained from yesterday, buying at 16.75 and selling at 17.8. And actually it's good for us right now.
Very, very, very good, Zipporah. I must say, very, very good for us. And people are still hoping that we go to a single digit. But anyway, we hope that happens very soon. But right about now, we'll go direct into zooming our headlines. And let's see what we had on our stories yesterday. And let's get talking.
From this place to what is causing havoc there in Kanyama West, along Kanyama West Clinic Road. This is the point. The constructors are discharging water into the drainage, and there in front there is no drainage to talk about, so the residents are complaining.
It might seem like the rainy season is long gone, but Kanyama West residents have been subjected to cold season of floods due to negligent pumping of water into a blocked drainage by Unique Construction Company. The company, who has been engaged to construct sewer lines in another area but is facing an influx of underground water, has resulted into pumping the water into the blocked drainage. Speaking to Camnet News, Kanyama resident Florine Miangano says the water is greatly affecting their livelihood and causing their businesses to stall.
Sapapa tatipempa kumutionereko kumanzi atavutika na manzi tankana ma problem popeka abana ku skulu bana ni bangono kungogwera mu manzi kungoenda chabe mu manzi era okungani ku ma business y'abantu yayimirira so chabe kulibena kuti mutantike mugulise mpeze mova kudya abana kulibe tapapata.
And the head teacher for Everlasting Gospel Community School is calling upon relevant authorities to swiftly look into the matter as the children's welfare is endangered.
Water floods. I don't know what is happening outside in the area of Kanyama. So we have got floods outside. Moreover, we have got little children here, those who go by themselves at home. So you may find that when going home, maybe a child can strike the water there, then you can have a problem. So we are just appealing to the government to work on that.
Meanwhile, Kanyama West Ward 14 councillor says he is not happy that his ward has been subjected to floods and therefore is calling on all construction works to hold until the solution is found and the situation is brought back to normal.
It won't benefit my people here, but look at what they have been subjected to, you know. So I am saying, please, they should stop doing this, not until they repair the damaged roads, the damage that has been caused on the road, And also, they come and unblock the drainage. Let them show me where the drainage is, where they are pumping this water, you know. So I am saying, let them stop, let them hold production, because we have been subjected to a very bad situation here. We can't take water anymore here, you know. Even in rain season, the floods weren't like this.
Cherish Siwote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
So that is a story from Kanyama West done by one of the reporters. And really, you can see that the situation is actually serious out there, and there's been emphasis that even as we engage contractors, they actually have to exercise responsibility in the way that actually maybe get rid of their materials.
Exactly, Zipporah. I must say it's a very sad situation given the fact that we have those floods just stuck nearby a school there, and you know it's making difficult. It's now making it difficult for the pupils to have access to the entry of the premise. So it's a quite sad situation. We hope it is addressed very soon, just like the ward councillor, the Kanyama Ward 14 councillor, Fred Mumba, said, you know, he expects them, you know, to give him more information and just bring out the solution, so that it's a very sad situation, Zipporah. You know, you are a child, you want to go to school, the rains are already long gone, and then here you are. Sometimes, you know, in the compounds, you find a pupil maybe removing their stockings, maybe if they want to access the entry.
And they're little children, it being a community school, they're little children there.
But you know, with the water being stagnant there, you don't know, people throw a lot of different things. At the end of the day, there will be a lot of diseases in that area. A very, very quite sad situation, and we hope it will be addressed very soon. We hope so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we also have another story, Miriam, which we compiled yesterday on the need for ZAMBIA, that is the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMBIA, to actually make sure that they regulate the illegal sale of herbs, like we were discussing yesterday on the breakfast show, that we've seen an increase in illegal herbs for this. And that also we actually compiled a story on regulation. So let's just take a look at that, and we're back to discuss in detail. Self-proclaimed health experts have flooded the streets of Lusaka more than any other parts of Zambia, selling all sorts of medicines and body organ enlargement products on the open market. With a visit to any market in Lusaka Central Business District CBD, one can access different medicines, such as for hip enlargement and sexual boosters. This is despite the existence of bodies like the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority ZAMBIA, which are mandated to conduct inspections and curtail such activities. They said medicines are selling at a price of as low as 5 kwacha, meaning that they are easily accessible.
Nizingaji ma price 5 kwacha chapi tonze utunto ma fruit tuje utunzingaji tuje utu nizingaji 5 kwacha.
A medical doctor, Teddy Mulenga, has warned of an increase in cancer diseases if the sale of such medicines is not regulated soon.
So we are appealing to the regulatory authorities, ZAMBIA and the city council authorities, to make sure that people who are selling concoctions, whether it is bedroom suites for sexual enhancement, are monitored and discouraged from carrying out such activities, because we do not know the effects of these concoctions on the kidneys, the liver, and the general body health of a human being.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview, ZAMBIA Public Relations Officer Mr. Ludovic Mwape has called on members of the public to alert the authority once they come across the sale of such items.
As a regulator, we have already put a measure, because we know every medicine is categorized as pharmacy, as general sale, as prescription-only medicines. So for male products that, for people that have male dysfunction, it's a condition that the products should be prescribed by a medical professional. So those that have a problem with male dysfunction, issues, they should seek medical advice before getting these products. And these products should be prescribed so that when they go to buy, they produce a prescription to the pharmacies available at a pharmaceutical outlet. So those that are found, we have been taking people to court or to task by ensuring that they follow the pharmaceutical standards in terms of dispensing these products.
Stakeholders in the medical fraternity have been calling for a ban on the sale of such items so as to reduce cancer diseases. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
There you have it. That was one of the stories done by our reporter Zipporah Mshala, who is my beautiful colleague joining me on set this morning. It's a quite interesting topic, you know, when you talk about sexual boosters and stuff like that. Zipporah, tell us more about this story, first of all.
In your best case, should have been concerned, like we had the doctor yesterday saying there's a rise in the sale of such items, and even like people are making money. If you go to, he was saying you can just go to any place, for example, in the street, and you even find someone with a laptop. They'll say, no, I'm doing a full body scan. Then the computer will there be saying, no, your heart has got fat, your liver has got fat, you need to pay 2,000, and all those things.
Yeah.
So it's really a scam, in other words. Like, it's really a scam, and the doctor yesterday actually mentioned here on the show that there's a time when his hospital was actually experiencing at least one death per week due to such herbs.
But you went on the ground and you spoke to people with regard to these things that they're using. How was your interaction with them? How was it like, you know? Just tell us your experience.
I think people really have got this traditional, like they're so gullible, they feel like as long as something comes from herbs, trees, then it works. But they don't even know its effects, like the doctor said, to the liver, kidneys, and all that. So he actually said those things are actually leading to an increase in cancerous diseases.
Interesting. And you know, Kamwala being one of the... you went to Kamwala, and I know a lot of people out there, especially women are into selling this kind of products. But anyway, I hope people did learn one or two things with regards to that issue. And I hope you are not, you know, lied to. You're not part of the... Anyway, I end there. But anyway, right about now, I don't know if, Isaac, we have anything on Facebook with regard, any comments with regards to how safe are children online in Zambia. We'll discuss more about that before we call our next guest, who is coming at 8, and we'll be talking about persons with disabilities benefiting from the Constituency Development Fund. So right about now, let's get to interact on how safe are children online in Zambia, the safety of children online in Zambia. Let's get to discuss. Right about now, we open our phone lines and we get your comments with regards to this. Zipporah, your view with regards to the safety of children online. I know with the internet, the rise in internet, nowadays you'll find a person as young as 12, you know, having a smartphone. So how do we make sure that the kids are safe from, you know, any kind of things from the internet?
Yes, okay, according to my view, right now children in Zambia are not safe because, for example, to even open like a Facebook account, if you can just say that you're 18, there's no proof, there's no NRC, and of course I know we do not control Facebook, but other countries, for example China, have put up measures in their own country to actually maybe control some of these platforms. You can just say, yes, I'm 18, I can have a Facebook account, and all those things, but there's no evidence, there's no NRC, anything like that. And so you find that whatever is posted out there, whether it be negative or positive, children actually are exposed to this, and we're actually talking about protecting our children from decaying morals. And actually, Miriam, we actually did compile a story I did with Childline Zambia, which is a child online, which is a hotline for child safety. And they were saying, especially during the coronavirus pandemic, they have witnessed a rise in calls from children reporting all kinds of crimes, all kinds of manners. It can be maybe attempted sexual abuse and all those things. And so they were saying during the height of the pandemic, especially last year, they were receiving as many as 700 calls per day from children. So I think we can just take a look at that story of online protection of children, and we'll be back to discuss in detail. And remember to give us your view on how safe are children online in Zambia and what you think can be done to actually protect our children. So let's take a look at that story. The onset of the coronavirus pandemic has had various effects on many areas of society, including the education system. This has resulted in most lessons being taken online in order to adhere to preventive measures such as social distancing, while enabling pupils to be more computer literate and also helping them to continue learning during the pandemic. Online learning has also brought with it its own risks. The prolonged exposure of children to online platforms puts them at risk of dangers such as sexual harassment, cyberbullying, and exposure to harmful content, among other risks. Childline Zambia, a non-governmental organization, says that the number of calls from children has increased during the pandemic, with their call center receiving about 700 calls per day. Organization Field Coordinator Mbuemi Chileshe was speaking to Camnet News.
Every day we get about 600, 700 calls, and most of them, I really can't say which one comes more because it's different, but I think of late most of them have been from child abuse. So when we get calls, we work together with the police, we work together with the parents of the children, we work with the parent. When they actually get calls from the call center, they don't talk to anybody, they talk to trained counselors. So they are seen through the stages and the steps, and we help the best way that we can.
Meanwhile, a media expert, Dr. Brenda Bukowa, says it is the responsibility of the media to educate parents on what dangers lie online and how children can be protected. She was speaking after a media sensitization workshop for online protection of children.
So as pertains to the opportunities and risks that children may be engaged in or may encounter in their day-to-day lives, the media comes in terms of sensitization, in terms of letting out society to know what is pertaining on the ground, in terms of informing the children themselves, the parents, and generally the public, in terms of also bringing in or bringing out issues to do with how we can create safe spaces for our children online so that they can then move and live in a safe and environment that they are protected.
The media expert has also called on civil society and civic leaders to raise awareness on the need to keep children safe online. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. The internet has become a major part of today's society, as most activities, including education and business, are finding their space on online platforms. While useful in increasing education exposure for children, the internet also poses many dangers. It is in this vein that other countries have come up with extra security measures like facial recognition to ensure that children do not access online platforms that could potentially put them in harm's way. Among the dangers that children encounter online is potential contact with human traffickers, among others. The Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation says Zambia should therefore domesticate international protocols aimed at safeguarding children by creating a safe online space. Data from non-governmental organizations like Childline Zambia indicate that the center was receiving an average of 700 calls per day at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. Foundation President Mr. John Tisenki was speaking to Camnet News.
In other countries, it's very serious. Kids are abducted each and every day. And these criminals demand for ransoms to be paid before they release the kids. And again, there's no guarantee that if you pay ransom, they still give your kid back. A number of kids have died, have been killed in the same vein because of being exposed to social media, which is very wrong. Even I think I've seen a number of our sisters on social media who post themselves with newly born babies, and they're like, I know the friends and the fun around being, having a child is okay. But again, let's also be wary of the fact that social media is a dangerous space. It's a dangerous space. It's like a war zone for kids.
Mr. Tsenki knows that key to ensuring a safe online space is also incorporating online safety tips into the school curriculum.
It's very important to note that there's a Child Protection Online Act, which is supposed to really be observed. So the world over, monitors and advocates for online child protection, which is very important. Even here in Zambia, let us desist from abusing kids by getting their photos and posting on social media. It's very dangerous for them. You might not be affected today, but tomorrow it might pounce on you, and then you realize how important it is to take your kids off social media.
Zambia is signed up to the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, among other protocols. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. So those are two stories on child online safety in Zambia, and we actually do have a comment from our Facebook page from Mr. Edwin Zulu, who says, how do parents buy big phones for their school-going children who are less than 10 or 15 years? These gadgets are destroying them in many ways. Lack of concentration at school, no fellowship when eating, everyone is busy on the phone, sometimes watching porn, and they become addicted. Moral decay or decadence has hit family badly. Up to 23 hours, one is on the phone chatting with boyfriends or girlfriends. What time do they sleep? No wonder they're always dozing and dreaming in class. See the end of year results, it is a disaster. No wonder they practice examination leakages or malpractice. Half-baked graduates, how can the nation develop like this? Scattered brains. So really, that's a comment from one of our viewers on Facebook. So he feels like this is actually maybe contributing to poor performance in school. Like but really, Miriam, to tell you the truth, for example, myself when I was in grade 7, I had friends who had smartphones. Yeah, in grade 7, maybe the phone is in class, the phone rings and all those things, but it was actually forbidden.
Yes, but you know how school-going children are. Even if phones are forbidden, they'll find a way of hiding the phones in their bag and just have access to their phones. And this actually makes them lose concentration, because the more time you spend in class, you'll just be thinking about your phone instead of concentrating to what your teacher
is. You wonder what messages are there, what's going on Facebook.
Exactly. And you know, with how social media nowadays is, like Facebook, you find a lot of different things being posted about. And also, Zipporah, we have scammers. You know, you're young, you have no knowledge. You find people, you know, take advantage of you.
They say we're looking for models. Don't tell your parents. Just come to this place, you go there, you're kidnapped.
You're kidnapped. You meet up with this person without knowing who they are. So it's quite a sad situation, but you know how kids are, and we hope that more stakeholders can come on board and just advocate for this and educate young children. The other thing I think we are supposed to do is, when we hold a certain stakeholders meeting engagement with regards to the safety of children in Zambia, online safety, we should engage more children rather than us having older people, adults in the meeting.
The affected people need to be engaged.
The affected people need to be engaged, but you find the other way around most of the time. And who gets to send the message now to these young people? So we need to engage them so that they understand the implication of them not, you know, fully understanding about the safety of, you know, being online on the internet. They need to know all the do's and don'ts so that they can utilize it in a good manner. One of the ways, we are not saying that it's bad. What we are saying, it's good, but there are disadvantages and advantages. So the advantage is quite all right. You're able to research your school things online, you know, get more information.
Especially with the coronavirus.
Yes, exactly. Get more information, but the disadvantage seems to have...
And actually, last time I was talking to a stakeholder in the who advocates for child online safety, and they were saying that maybe it should actually be introduced in the school curriculum. Online child safety. How can children stay safe? They should actually teach them in schools on how they can actually.
I think that's a great idea.
Stay safe. What dangers are there on the internet, and how can they actually protect themselves to make sure that the internet, despite it being good, does not actually work against our children in this generation.
It's really a good idea, because child online protection is a very critical issue that requires a global and coordinated response. So it's something that we should continue to talk about, because it affects us every day, every single day.
Yes, and moving on, Miriam, we're actually going to be moving on to our next segment, where we're going to be talking about inclusion of persons with disabilities in constituency development fund, because as we know, persons with disabilities already struggle with many things. For example, financially, economically, most of them do not even attend an education, and even for those that attend an education, it's actually hard to find a job or other economic opportunities. So they feel like CDF is now an opportunity for them to actually have something to do. But many of them, I was actually in George Compound, where I was talking to representatives of over 300 persons with disabilities. So that's an organization. And they were actually saying they don't even really know what CDF is. No one has ever come to sensitize them. They're just there depending on social cash transfer and all that, and whatever handouts that they can get from people. So really we need more sensitization on the same. And then we're going to have our guest, Mr. Elijah Ngwale, who's an advocate for persons with disabilities.
Yes, let's play that clip and see what we are talking about, and we'll be waiting for you on the other side and just get to discuss more about this.
Talk has been ongoing in different sectors of society about the increase in the Constituency Development Fund CDF by the current administration, which saw an increase to 25.7 million kwacha from 1.6 million kwacha in the previous administration. Youths, women, and the general citizenry have since been advised to form cooperatives if to benefit from the fund. The feedback from some sectors of society, like some women-led groups so far, has not been positive, as they have been indicating that the procedure of writing business proposals is complicated and that they have since given up on forming cooperatives due to this. Persons with disabilities, such as this group living in Lusaka's George Compound, say they do not even have the slightest idea on how to form a cooperative, as information on the same has not reached them.
Tumvera kuti kunachoka CDF fund. I CDF fund pamene inabwerera twaiona kuti provision yakaena yonesa kuti ni tali. Are you saying the truth, Mr. our president, Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, kuti I program inabwerera bantu bovutika? Process yakaena is a organization. Tukaribe kuziba procedure moendera mabwino, mukaribe kupita kutuma bantu botupunzisa motengereza indrama. Fund ya mene munabweresa CDF fund. Usheni abantu bovutika nangu izasalira kwa mene ku State House bamene bazatenga ni bamene bana bama ministers nangu ni bantu bamene bovutika mwachonadi.
Uti batipunziseko. Chifukwa cha uti kwa metiriri tiribe moyambira ma cooperative mwati manvera tizimvera chabe pa radio uti banza tuba muminzi bana ma cooperative yosiyana banaenda kubapunzisa bati ife na pantawi zino tikaibe kubaona.
Vuta mene taona kulifa ma disabilities ni yakuti ife tiribe na malo yakuti tingankale tipezeke kuti zisipangako chitukuko muno mu Zambia monga mene tionera banzatu, so ife tirakinga malo yakuti mutitandizire kuba boma amene muona kuti ife tavutika tisakira malo otithandiza angabwe batithandizako atipasako malo ayo malo kuti tizisungapo monga nkhuku kusunga nkhuku, malayers ya nkhuku, maeggs chani vonse hivyo ndio tivutika kuno. So ise tilibe na empowerment otithandizira.
They have since called for education on the same, stating that they too would like to improve their livelihoods. According to the United Nations, about 2 million people in Zambia have a form of disability, and accessing economic activities for this group of people remains a challenge. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. In case you're just joining us, on just like Mondays, on Tuesdays we always look at the community aspects when we come on this show. And this morning, like my colleague earlier mentioned, that will be joined later in studio by Mr. Elijah Ngware, disability rights advocate, who is going to talk about the benefits that disability people can get from the constituency development funds. And he is here with us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome,
Good morning, Mr. Ngware.
Welcome to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show.
Thank you very, very much indeed. But allow me to do this since I'm an Orthodox Christian. I'm not President Frederick Titus Chiruba declared Christian, but Orthodox Christian. So allow me to do this. Lord God of all kingdoms, the Prince of Peace, Lord of grace, Lord of peace, hear thy kingdom come. Keep us into thy happy hands and fill our hearts with love. When we walk with the Lord Jesus, and not in the strength of men, O Lord of mighty power, the Prince of Peace. Our Lord, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, you promised us blind people thus, and I quote, and I'll bring the blind by a way they know not. I'll lead them in paths they have not known. I'll make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things shall I do unto them, and not forsake them. Isaiah 42 verse 16. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really awesome.
Exactly, I must say.
An encouraging morning devotion, actually.
Really beautiful, I must say. But anyway,
you can as well use the word splendiferous.
Splendiferous. I'm sure I'll blend that word today.
Exactly. And I know you're not a new person when it comes to the screens of Camnet TV. You have been here before.
Yes.
But this morning, you're joining me and Zipporah on set. And our main discussion of this morning is about the CDF, Constituency Development Funds, vis-a-vis persons with disabilities. I know there have been a lot of concerns with regard to people with disability.
No, not people, persons.
Persons with disability.
Yeah.
Benefiting from the constituency development funds. Maybe just tell us, before we go much into detail with our topic of discussion this morning, tell us who are persons with disabilities, because there are a lot of
Thank you very much. You use a lot of words which are euphemistic. You use a lot of words which are derogatory, neo-systemic, discriminatory, to call us persons with abilities. But let me say this to you. According to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, according to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and I quote, persons with disabilities include those who have long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments which in interaction with various barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on an equal basis with others. End of quote. End of quote. So please don't call us differently abled, physically challenged, people living with disabilities, vulnerable people, marginalized. No, that is an insult to us. Another question.
Yes, thank you very much for clarifying on that. So there are many people out there who actually do not really know, like,
exactly
who are persons with disabilities, and Mr. Ngwale here is clarifying. And yesterday we actually even had a story where persons with albinism were actually commemorating their days, and they were actually advocating to be included in this group, because they say, while other people are categorized as persons with disabilities, them they're categorized as persons with albinism. So they're saying they actually want to be part of the larger group so that they can also maybe benefit from some of the initiatives that will actually be given. And so, Mr. Ngwale, maybe from...
But sorry to do things blindocratically, not blindly, blindocratically, in italics. I haven't introduced myself.
Yes, I'm actually coming to that.
We are coming to that, thank you.
Yes, so I was there, Mr. Ngwale, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and how you came to actually be maybe an advocate or someone who actually speaks out on rights for persons with disabilities?
I am Elia Ngwale, aka Elijah Ngwale. Elia Ngwale is that on my NRC, which I obtained in 1968. I'm Elia Ngwale. Now, Aka Elijah Ngwali, because everywhere you call me Elijah Ngwali. So if I die, Elijah Ngwali is dead. It means that I'm not dead, formally and officially. There's a possibility and a vulnerability that I will live for 500 years, for as long as I will die. So that's what I am. Now, I am a goodwill ambassador for persons with disabilities. I was also honored by the families, as the Nations is a family, an organization by Judith Mwira. But above all, on 24th October last year, man of God, you call him His Excellency, you call him Your Excellency, but I don't call him that. I call him man of God, because we cheated a lot about him. The people said he was what before he became president. So to me, I'll die calling him man of God. Man of God, president of the 7th president of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, conferred upon me, and therefore I'm the recipient of the president's insignia of honor. 24th October 2021, insignia of honor. Bemba people say that insignia of honor. That's what I am. So I'm not visual. Don't call me visually impaired. If you call me visually impaired, I'll feel insulted. I am blind. And the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, UN, has maintained and sustained this name blind.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
just
clarifying.
out there, we're discussing how can persons with disabilities actually benefit from Constraints Development Fund. Has enough sensitization been done? Have we seen any of persons with disabilities actually forming cooperatives? So you can call in on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen and give your view on the topic. Miriam?
Yeah, interesting, Zipporah. I know there have been a lot of complaints when it comes to persons with disabilities in terms of them benefiting from the Constituency Development Fund that government recently introduced from 1.6 million to the 25.7 million kwacha. So maybe you can just give us your comments. Do you feel like you're being left out from benefiting from this Constituency Development Fund?
Not left out, because there is even a complaint from you, non-disabled people. It's not only from us. You know, the problem is that the CDF is a very huge, very colossal, very mammoth program, which is supposed to have results within a year. That is done. In my opinion, it would have been done, the money that would be spent was going to be spent perhaps on industries, and it was going to be done slowly but surely. However, having said that, persons with disabilities, yes, when it comes to guidelines, you feel empowerment of women and empowerment of youth and women. We are not mentioned there. If we are mentioned in obiter dictum, in passing. So really, we are left. We are left out of everything. But if we, persons with disabilities, have to benefit from CDF, and benefit we must, then the following measures, among others, should be taken. A, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, which is responsible for CDF, should work very closely with Ministry of Community Development and Social Service, which is responsible for coordinating programs and policies for persons with disabilities. Succinctly and metaphorically speaking, Honorable Gary Nkombo, my friend, Minister of Local Government, and Honorable D.S. Mwamba, equally my friend, Minister of CDS, should marry, metaphorically speaking. You are getting me?
Yes.
Honorable Nkombo and Honorable Mwamba should marry, metaphorically speaking, vis-a-vis persons with disabilities and CDF, meaning that they should be working together. They should work together have programs, identify programs, and work together. Secondly, how they would benefit. A symposium on CDF vis-a-vis persons with disabilities should be held possibly by September this year, in which the major players would be Ministry of Local Government and Ministry of Ministry of Community Development. In this case, again, metaphorically speaking, the two ministers should marry. Then, mainstreaming of persons with disabilities programs into CDF is very, 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 very important. They should be mainstream. Now we have got the Zambia Agency for persons with the disabilities. Zambia Agency for persons with disabilities. And on this one, you have article section 13. Section 13 of the 14 of the Agency of Persons with Disabilities Act. Functions of agency. I will not read all of them, I'll just read very few. 1.1. The functions of the agency are to plan, promote, and administer services for persons with disabilities. Now, in this case, this one would be mainstreamed into what? Into CDF. Because the CDF will be dealing with services. B, develop and implement measures to achieve equal opportunities, not this one, but facilitate and coordinate habilitation, not this one again, promote research into all aspects of disability. They would work together here. And then, lastly, cooperate with the state institutions and other organizations in the provision of preventive educational training. So what I'm saying here is that this is the Zambia Agency for Persons with Abilities. In other words, the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities should work very closely with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Local government and rural development, and of course other ministries. When you do that, you would have done mainstreaming. And this is one of the ways in which we persons with disabilities would benefit. And to ensure also that everywhere you have got these committees, persons with disabilities should be there. Now I would like to warn you, I would like to commend, first of all, my party, United Party for National Development, that they are now appointing a lot of us persons with disabilities. But I would like to caution them. I would like to caution my party, and I have no immediate plans to leave UPND. What you do, you UPND leaders, you might be appointing exhibits. You might be appointing the fact that one is disabled, the fact that Ngwale has got potholes in his head. Sorry to be sarcastic, but I'm emphasizing a point. That does not mean he has got abilities. So when I talk about disability everywhere, I don't mean that you should appoint everybody, Barosla and Kaufela, so long as somebody is legless, so long as somebody is in one with potholes. Sorry to be sarcastic, the UN will be against me, but I'm emphasizing a point. No, look for people with qualities, persons with disabilities with qualities. So if you do that, put them here and there, it will be very good. In this regard, I would like to commend, not recommend, because if I said recommend, it would be member English. I would like to commend my friend, Honorable Gary Nkombo. Immediately, UPND government was born. He was the first minister to make an announcement about persons with disabilities. And I would like to, and I think up to now he has done 2-3 things. The sad thing about these ministers is that they don't, sorry to zigzag. Zigzagging are the idiosyncrasies, characteristics, and peccadillos of us blind people. But we reach the destination. You are going to Chirenge, you are going to Matero, but you are going to the direction of Chirenge, but in the final analysis you reach. Now, so to zigzag, what I'm saying is that ministers ministers, all of you, Barossa and Kaufela, including my minister of what? I would like to please plead with you, respect your president, Hakainde Hichilema, who is my president, my head of state. He honored me, you are getting me? He honored me in last year, 24th October. But these ministers, including my good friends, both of them are friends, they are not inviting me to these activities. They are supposed to invite me in appreciation of what Hakainde Hichilema, Esquire, President of the Republic of Zambia did. But they don't invite me, even Honorable Doreen Mwamba. So these functions, please invite me, because if you don't invite me, it means that you do not approve of what that man, Hakainde Hichilema, did to honor me. So we were talking about what should be. That's what should be done. That Honorable Nkombo, Honorable Doreen Mwamba should work very closely, and the Zambia agents for persons with disabilities also working very closely. That's why I'm worried now, again, because recently the Zambia agents for persons with disabilities board was established. And before, when I heard the rumor about it, I had to advise my minister that the manner in which this would be done, if we are not careful, would not bear any results. Because this time, they are running the Zambia agency for the board might be running the Zambia agency like an NGO. It's not an NGO. You cannot say Zambia agency for persons with disabilities is going to work very closely with the government, because Zambia agency itself is government, is quasi government. So if you are not careful, we are not going to realize any results. So please, in conclusion on this one, I am saying that we have to be very careful when appointing people. Don't just appoint people. My head of state, Hakainde Hichilema, don't just appoint, and my minister, Honorable Mwamba, don't just appoint as disabled people because you would like to appease, you would like to placate, you would like to mollicodo, and you would like to modify us. We are not going to get anything. Let's go for quality and not quantity. You have heard that saying that disability is not inability. When you meet those people was Bora, also tell them that disability is not ability. Tell them that Goodwill Ambassador for persons with abilities said that disability is not ability. The fact that I'm disabled does not mean that I've got abilities. So if you appoint me just because I've got a disability, that's wrong. Another question?
Yes, Dave, that's actually a very good point that has been stressed here, to make sure that you actually employ competent people,
capable people, not just you'd like to, you the government, my government, UPND, would like to appease us, would like to placate us, would like to modify us, would like to mollicode us. You concentrate on quantitative appointments as opposed to qualitative appointments. No. You are doing us a lot of harm, my dear President.
I'm sure the point has been gotten, and just to be out there, we're discussing on whether persons with disabilities are currently are they going to benefit from CDF? Do they know how to form cooperatives? Have they been sensitized? So do go in on the numbers that are scrolling on the screen, or leave us a message on Facebook. And Mr. Ngwale, talking about ZAPID, like you earlier mentioned, what role do you feel ZAPID should actually play when it comes to CDF?
The role that he should play, first of all, the Zambia Agency for Persons with Abilities was established, first of all, in 1996, and then that one was repealed in 2011, and 2012, you have got this act, Persons with Disabilities. Now, one of the functions of ZAPID is to coordinate, you are getting me, coordinate various programs. So in this regard, what ZAPID should do is to do what? To coordinate. Secondly, the ZAPID, to coordinate programs of persons with abilities. Secondly, ZAPID is supposed to mainstream programs. We are talking about mainstreaming, not mainstreaming disability into disability. You are getting me? If you mainstream disability into, no. The Zambia Agency for Persons with Abilities, those functions, 14 functions, Look at them. This can be done by that. This can be done by that. This can be done by that. They're supposed to do that. And the Zambia Agents for Persons with Disabilities and organizations, especially organizations of persons with disabilities, such as ZAFOD, Zambia Federation of the Disabled, Zambia National Federation of the Blind. Although this time these organizations are in limbo, you don't hear much about them. They are supposed to aggressively go to CDF, where CDF, all constituencies, let them make noises, making unnecessary noises. Then they'll be given necessary attention. Let me tell you one thing. At one time I visited my friend, Honorable Kampiongo, and he said this, and I was very angry. First of all, Wingoni sometimes are slow thinkers. I realized very late that what he said was there was some wisdom. He said this: Professor Ngwale, you write rubbish, you speak rubbish, but other disabled people write nothing and they speak nothing. And so we take the rubbish you write, the rubbish you speak, as the gospel truth. I was very angry with him initially. But if later on I realized this man is a Bembas, he's a wise. That one is wise, meaning that make unnecessary noises about this CDF. Write unnecessary noises about this CDF. And you are going to be given necessary attention. That's what you. That's what you should do. That's what you should do. And this one make unnecessary noises and be given necessary attention was said by Chairman Mao. But the other one about me writing rubbish and speaking rubbish was said by Honorable Kampiongo. Both of them have got meaning. So you persons with abilities, stand up and be counted. Speak, write, and then you'll be given necessary attention.
Yes, very well spoken. I'm sure it has been heard out there. The organizations such as ZAPID and ZAFOD, I'm sure they've gotten away.
No, the ZAPID, don't say that. ZAPID is not an organization. I heard even the new chairman, at one time, the new chairman, he said ZAPID is going to work hand in hand with the government.
The message has been heard clearly.
Yeah, but
maybe what measures, maybe do you feel the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, working with the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, what programs would you like to see them mainstreaming when it comes to CDF in regards to persons with disabilities?
I must admit that I have not read the word, but what I will tell you in a nutshell, NUT, not in nutshell, it's not nutshell, it's nutshell. Yes. What I can tell you in a nutshell, mainstreaming should be in as many programs as it can be done. Let's not be selective. And this question of disability, they don't deal with us, persons with abilities, aggregately. You must deal with us disaggregatedly, meaning that the problems which blind people, I'm not visually impaired, I'm blind. The way you are going to solve problems which afflict blind people, affect blind people, is not the way you are going to affect to solve the problems of deaf people. So it means that the deaf people must have a strong organizations to identify how they will be mainstreamed into CDF. The same with blind people, and so on and so forth. Mainstreaming is very important. And what we need now are rights-based rehabilitation. You are getting me?
Yes.
Rights. Our Lord Jesus Christ said, and I quote, "Seek ye the kingdom of God first, and everything would follow." Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, a Pan-African, said, and I quote, "Seek ye political kingdom first, and everything would follow." I am saying this to my fellow persons with abilities, not only of Zambia, but of the world as a whole. Seek ye rights first, and everything would follow. Let these non-disabled people deny you what, but you must fight for your rights. We need not social approach, not medical approach, but the rights approach. And there in CDF, we need it to be recognized. The rights of persons with abilities must be recognized.
Yes,
okay.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. But we have seen certain people argue that despite you calling for government to come forth and include you in terms of benefiting from CDF and other means, others would say, in as much as you are given these funds, maybe you won't have the capacity or the skills to, you know, utilize the funds to the full capacity and bring the benefit. What would be your comment on that?
I believe in qualitative type of development, not quantitative. What I would do, if that would be the case, we begin slowly but surely. This problem you are mentioning now is even affecting you non-disabled. You take, where do you come from, Madam Zbor?
Western.
Which district?
Senanga and Sesheke.
You come from Senanga, Sesheke. There are quite Senanga, quite Sesheke. You know, there are some people who there are some officers who will not be there. You are getting me? Because the districts are small. So that one it will not affect us only. Persons with abilities is a problem everywhere. But the most important thing is that we must begin. So Chairman Mao said, he said that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So don't leave us, don't leave us into, don't cast us, persons with abilities, into obfuscation. Don't cast us into oblivion. Don't cast us into obscurity. Don't cast us into evanescence. We must now go, 2 ministers especially, I would like to emphasize on 2 ministers, that if they work together very closely, and I'm sure I've mentioned that Garin Kombo, Honorable Garin Kombo, is very cooperative. I've interacted with him personally that time before we became government, UPND. Each time I was invited at any meeting, he used to be the one to give me transport, so I know him in person. He has got that empathy. What we need now is empathy, not sympathy. We don't need your sympathy. Away with the sympathy, but empathy. So you begin like this, and then everything will be all right.
Definitely. And how can the 2 ministries actually make sure that persons with disabilities benefit from CDF without actually being discriminated against?
There must be some yardsticks, what we call yardsticks, that the program we have done should be this, meeting these standards, or we call them standards. Now, if the program does not meet standards, it means that persons with disabilities have been discriminated against. And when you talk about discrimination, let me warn you about one thing, because I'm 74 years, anytime I can die. So you say Wajawamdala, let me tell you, Wajawamdala natisira warning. There is what we call systemic, S-Y-S-T-E-M-I-C, systemic discrimination. Systemic discrimination, that's the one whereby when they talk about it, even people with disabilities, hey, let me tell you one systemic discrimination in Persons with Disabilities Act. It is said that a parent with a child who is disabled should enroll that child to any school, and any school which says no could be punished. You are getting me? And this act, I'm not blaming anybody. This act was done by the late Patricia Daka Jere, the late Francis Muyenga, the late Eugene Carter, and I. And our chairman was Mr. James Muitwa. Mr. James Muitwa. So it's us 5 who prepared some notes in the bill. So, you know, that one, persons with disabilities are very happy. But you just choose a child, you take a child to a school. That child is blind, no materials. That child is he going to benefit? So, in short, we should guard against this systemic discrimination. We want things that could be done.
And even speaking on the same education, really, how would you rate the education sector today? Does it really support persons with disabilities? Do they have enough of the equipment at school?
Exactly.
And those things?
Exactly.
You are from Senanga. You have got a saying in Ilozi that the child who does not cry died, who did not cry, died at the mother's back. You have heard that saying?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So some people, you know, this idea of blaming government. Sometimes we persons with disabilities, especially the blind, we are the ones to blame. Because we don't cry, we don't make noises. You can imagine that you go to the University of Zambia now, you find some blind people, the government is not giving them writing equipment. When they write examinations, they have to write in Braille. With due respect to you two ladies, when they want to write this, to write letters to their girlfriends, with due respect to you, they have to dictate to dictate. Can you dictate? You ain't going to dictate to Movember. But during my time, I sat for my examinations from at Munali, typing, and at the University of Zambia. And if I was led to temptation to write a letter with due respect to you, I'm 74 now, to a girl, I just took the typewriter and the paper, put it, dear Jane, I'm carrying out a feasibility study into the possibility of establishing a matrimonial consanguinity between you and me. You are a source of aspiration, and aspiration. Thought-provoking, thought-igniting, thought-triggering. Put in the movement, give it to Jane. Without now this time they don't have typewriters, they don't have what? So education.
There's no equipment.
No equipment, and they call themselves graduates. Graduating Kulemba Braille. No. So what I'm saying is, let the blind make noises. Let the deaf make noises. Then they'll be given what they want. Even this recruitment of teachers. Sorry to zigzag, understand, and perambulate. Even the recruitment of teachers. They try for Inchito, for a blind, they for Inchito. When they employ them, they just sit. They have no learning teaching materials. Not teaching materials, most of these schools.
Okay, and really, what could be the common denominator between the two ministries when it comes to fostering the participation of persons with disabilities in CDF programs? This might be the third time, and to the annoyance, you are getting me? To the annoyance of the two ministers, let them work together. And that's why I've said, metaphorically speaking, both ministers are educated. Metaphorically speaking, the two ministers must marry, work together, the two ministries, and the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities, Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities must provide guidance, because it's the one which is a government institution which is supposed to advise the government. So when you do that, it will be all right. And right from now, Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities has got representatives in all provinces. So they could start now to say that those representatives could be members of CDF in their respective provinces, and in districts they would be members of CDF, except that, and this is my advice to my minister, Honorable Mwamba, remember people say that pakwa kana ugungana mako tapabensoni mumana fiala umena limo tuwapapata sana ba minister ngamletu chita point, please don't go for quantity, go for quality, because if you go for quantity nishimwatu ipa or mwabe ipa apparently anytime I can die. You choose people, there are many people, persons with abilities to do the work. That would be well and good if the two ministries work together, two ministers work together, Zambia Agency for Persons with Abilities work together, they consider this work of a symposium which I've referred to. And I even wrote a letter to Honorable Doreen Mwamba. Due to pressure of work, the ministry does not reply, rarely replies to my letters, unfortunately, but let's hope they will reply. They must have a meeting or symposium with utmost urgency, exigency, contingency, and immediacy, whichever the case may be.
How best do you think government would engage persons with disabilities in terms of sensitizing you on the CDF, how you can benefit, and also in terms of forming cooperatives?
You know, only that the one who bewitched me, the one who made me to be blind, tampered with my names. That question, I'm also weeping. We have got the Zambia National Library and Cultural Skills Center for Visually Impaired in Lusaka. What they do throughout, they don't even put in Braille these budgets. And I wonder whether they have put this in Braille. They haven't, they don't do that. Because that's the first thing. Put these things in Braille and let people, as many people as possible, read. Secondly, we blind people now depend, like you, on digital radios. So they must be, just as you yourselves are doing. At the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities, there must be somebody, public relations officer. At the Ministry of Community Development, and I understand Zafford has got to that one, so that these people should be engaged, not engaged, but engaged in sensitization. Media. You know, media is very powerful. You remember that encounter, eyeball to eyeball encounter between Amai Eve and Lucifer. That was the first interview, So if you are a journalist, it means that you derive your authority from that interview. Media is very important. And immediately after that meeting, Lucifer and Eve, the world changed according to the Bible. So they should sensitize. That would be very good indeed.
Okay, so that is a very, very good discussion that we're having. Very interesting. We're able to get to understand more with regards to persons with disabilities and also them benefiting from the constituency development funds. Right about now, we'll go direct. We'll just take a break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
We celebrate for all you've done. We give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate for all you've done. We give you all the praise.
Thank you you for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. This morning we are talking about constituency development funds vis-a-vis persons with disabilities, on how they can benefit from the constituency development funds. And we are in the studio joined by Mr. Elijah Ngwira. He's Ngwira.
Ngwira is a Tumuka, Ngwale is a Ngwali.
My apologies for that. My apologies for that. But anyway, it's a very, very beautiful discussion that we had this morning with regards to how persons with disabilities can benefit from the constituency development funds. We know there have been a lot of talks, complaints from persons with disabilities with regards on how they can benefit from these funds. But now we know there are a lot of complaints. Have we seen so far persons with disabilities coming forth, trying to form cooperatives and putting that project forward so that they can benefit from these constituency development funds?
To my knowledge, so far, no. I'm saying to my knowledge, I haven't heard of. Of course, there would be some. Please don't. Cooperatives for persons with disabilities. The problem is not only being faced by us persons with disabilities. Even you, non-disabled people, complaining about the mechanisms that are there in forming cooperatives, just because you like to form the cooperatives because of the cooperative. In the past, the cooperatives were formed when you had little resources to contribute. You are getting me? But now you just take people. You just take people and they go and form the cooperatives. It does not augur well. So especially in the case of a person with a disability, blind or severely disabled, with a physical disability, or somebody with the philosophy of Katontokaism. You know Katontokaism in italics. That's somebody. Katontoka is rather the founding father of mental health users network of Zambia. So we have coined the term that those people, instead of saying mad what, we say they belong to the philosophy of Katontokaism. Now, it would be very difficult when you form a cooperative. How am I going to do what? How am I going to live? How am I going to sustain my livelihood? So I think to ask persons with disabilities, it will be a little bit tricky to form the cooperatives. When you form the cooperatives, it means that first of all they must give you, for lack of a better word, some money to sustain your livelihood. You would argue that there is now what we call social cash transfer. But that social cash transfer is for people who, like Wangwale, who not only have not only outlived their usefulness, but have outlived their uselessness, and they have to join their counterparts, the Elijah in heaven. But how about those people in 40s, 30s? Because how would they manage? So to ask him, what I would appeal is that when coming to cooperatives, when it's a person with a disability, there must be some component. It must differ a little bit from that of a non-disabled person.
Okay, very, very interesting. And maybe why has CDF suddenly become important to persons with disabilities? Why the discussion now?
For time immemorial, CDF was not much talked of. In fact, you would even stay for 5 years. They say, "Oh, it was not, that money was not given." But what our leaders in UPND have done, including the president, is to make it viable. It has got these phrases: it's acceptable, affordable. CDF must be acceptable, affordable, viable, and accessible. Now, because of this, and a lot of talking have been made about it, that's why, and sadly, I'm saying sadly because I'm not happy with what I'm going to say now. Sadly, CDF has outmaneuvered national budget. If we continue at this rate, in 5 years' time, people will completely forget about the national budget. So because of what has been said about CDF, that's why we find that even persons with abilities are becoming, it's colossal. The program, CDF program, is colossal, is huge, is marathon, is mammoth, and it has attracted the attention. So I'm going to say something now, not to annoy you, but you will think with me. I would like to, if we are not careful, if the government is not careful, this CDF will be there to placate, to mollify, to appease, and to mollicoddle the broad masses of the people. So they must, again, before it's too late, meet and make strategies as to how it's going to be workable. Because I think you heard 2 days ago when a man of God, 7th President of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, Esquire, gave them 2 months, to say in 2 months' time, CDF must start working. Which means that it was not working implicitly. So coming to the table, it's because it has been spoken too much. That's why all of a sudden we persons with abilities have also become interested in ET. And please, as I zigzag, meander, stag, and perambulate, you people in the Zambia National Library, I'm appealing to to Minister, to direct her library that they should put this thing in Braille. And also on the soft copies, we need the soft copies, Braille, and so on and so forth.
Okay, Mr. Ngwale, even as we come to the conclusion, we're talking about CDF with persons with disabilities, but do they actually have the needed skills to form these cooperatives? Do persons with disabilities have skills to actually form different cooperatives?
The problem with you, Woma, is that you are talking about persons with abilities as if all of them, Barossa and Kaufela, they are what? Don't expect persons. That's why we say persons. We don't say people. People is aggregate. Now, when we say persons, is individuals. So perhaps I could answer on behalf of people, but we are not people with disabilities. We are persons with abilities. So since we are persons with abilities, yes, some of them have got skills. You know the difference between persons and people. That's why we said we would not be, but blind people. Blind people, we call us blind people, not persons, because it's one disability. You are getting me? Blind people is one disability. People living with albinism is one disability. It's not a disability with albinism. It's a condition like HIV. HIV/AIDS is not a disability, it's a condition. So what I'm saying is that that's what you do. Yes, persons with abilities, there are some who have got skills. They would be able to form the cooperatives.
And have we seen maybe those without skills actually being, have we seen any?
And let me tell you, there is the National Vocational Rehabilitation Center, which, yeah, thanks you very much. They say behind every man's success, there's a woman. You have raised a good question, although Mdala Mugabe failed because a woman, but you have made me to succeed. There is a National Vocational Rehabilitation Center. What they can do now at National Vocational Rehabilitation Center is to find out what skills, you are getting me, what skills could be given to persons with abilities. That thing is not working well. It was built when I was the General Secretary of the defunct Zambia Council for the Handicapped. So please, you young people, anything can happen to me, death included. But you young people, do something about National Vocational Rehabilitation Center with this CDF so that as many skills as possible could be given. Do something. There are a lot of centers which are lying idle. Kamboa, Kangonga, Mtongolo, Fisenge, Memosa. Resuscitate these centers under PPPPP, Public Partnership, something like that. Resuscitate them so that they begin providing skills. Thank you very much. What is your name?
Mushala.
Mushala. Mlena wama keke amfiole. You have raised a very good. So I'm making very serious appeal on this one. Although all these centers now, they are dotted here and there. If you are hearing me, centers must now be resuscitated, be rejuvenated, be revamped, and begin providing skills, various skills, as per CDF, National Vocational Rehabilitation Center, which I participated in building, must also, is in Ndola, be geared towards what? Towards providing skills. The Zambia, the government have got National Trust Fund for the disabled. National Trust Fund. See how you can work. National Trust Fund for the disabled. See how you can work closely with the CDF. That's going to be good. So I'm really very happy. Let's hope they are listening to what I'm saying.
Interesting. As we come to the end of our program, maybe you can just give us your last remarks.
My last remarks are these. I am grateful to the government of the Republic of Zambia for what they have started doing insofar as persons with abilities are concerned. But when it comes to appointments, please don't appoint quantitatively, appoint qualitatively. Don't appoint quantitatively, appoint qualitatively. That's very important. And this CDF, in conclusion, I would like to make a humble appeal. I almost said humble, but a humble appeal that these centers, which Woma Mushala has alluded, not alluded, but alluded to, Minister of Community Development work hand in hand with the local government, because the local government infrastructure and other ministries, so that they are revamped, and with utmost, let me be tautological, and with immediate effect, they should begin providing skills. There are centers dotted all over. Please don't stop that. And may I end up like this. May I remind our Lord, the Creator, about what He promised us blind people. And I quote, and I'll bring the blind by way they know not. I'll lead them in paths they have not known. I'll make darkness light before them and the crooked things straight. These things shall I do unto them and not forsake them. Isaiah 42 verse 16. Thank you.
Very, very interesting. So there you have it. That was Mr. Elijah Ngwale, Goodwill Ambassador for Persons with Disabilities, was helping us discuss CDF vis-a-vis persons with disabilities. And we've heard a call there for ZAPID and ZAFO to actually increase the advocacy, and also the need to revamp various skills centers so that these people can actually have some skills in order for them to be economically independent. Miriam?
Yeah, exactly, Zipporah. I wish we could have more time to, keep going and just highlight or address more issues concerning with regard to persons with disabilities. But anyway, it's a sad moment. Like when you're in the breakfast show, you enjoy talking and talking.
Yeah,
but anyway, suddenly it's over. The time has gone. But anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. For me.
So do join Prudence Chota and Miriam Kaimba tomorrow as they take you into politics. From me and Miriam on the community desk, it's until next week Monday. Have a good morning.